Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a video on Wheel of Fate quest number 1. We are going to go through all of it one by one with all the champions. Now the whole run took me around 1 hour and 15 minutes. So I'm not going to do the whole run here, but I'm going to explain you each and every fight and what things you need to note and also look at the gameplay loop. So there are going to be a total of 13 fights here, including the boss. So every fight before that, there is going to be a tag node from where you can choose a only specific champion. If you click on the node, as you've seen on the screen, it will show you which are your eligible attackers. So you can bring only those ones. Now there are a lot of attackers available, but I will only show you which are the best options that you can use. And I've also checked this with the people who have done it on the first day. Huge shout out to Dread. I will leave his YouTube channel in the description as well. Big shout out to him. He was really helpful with all of his community. So the big shout out to them for helping me getting all the counters in for day 1. So let's talk about fight number 1. The fight number 1 is going to be Gorr, and the nodes are going to be bleed immunity, and there's also going to be press the advantage. So while the defender will have an undermine effect, they will gain a 550 fury and pierce passive. So basically, as long as Gorr has undermine effect on him, he is going to also do extra damage with the fury and also the pierce even in your block. There's obstinate charge also, so remember that you will have to re-parry him if you want to parry. I would suggest not to parry him at all because he is going to do all of that damage to you. So no need to parry him. You can play without parry. Just hit him in the block and push him to special ones. Now you will notice right now Gorr health bar is grey until he gets to 2 bars of power. Now that is because of the countdown to lockdown special 1. So the defender will start with 4 special lockdown charges. So every time you use a special attack 1, you are going to reduce that charge. After every 4 special attack 1s, Gorr will be power locked until he gets to an SP2. So you cannot avoid the SP2 after 4 SP1s. Now the way you deal with that is you block the first hit of the special 2 and then dodge the second and the third of it. So there's an SP1 right here, and we're gonna go back in and keep using my SP1. So for the attackers, I would say one of the best attackers is going to be Count Nefaria. You will come out of with full health, and apart from Count Nefaria, Shatra works really well and Wong works really well. All of these champions are great. The leader is also a great option. So those are the options that I've seen working, and I've seen people get the solos on them. So if you have any other, let me know in the comment section down below, and I should be able to mention that as well. So here we are. We are going to wait for his SP1. I believe now he is power locked. Yes, he is. And I'm going to push him to an SP2. So here I'm going to block the first hit of the SP2 right there. Evade the second, and then on the third one I'm able to take him out. Well, I made a mess there, but you know what I mean, how to take him out. Now moving on to fight number 2, your tags are going to be 7-star champions and 2021. Now we are going to go against Dazzler, and the nodes here are going to be stylish. So landing a critical hit adds 1 to the attacker's combo meter. There's also power generator, so whenever you will gain a power, the defender will gain 2 charges of dynamo. Now why this is important? Because when you will knock down the opponent, she is going to remove those dynamo charges and she's going to gain power. Now it's very important that you do not push her to an SP2 because that is instant death. You have to keep her to an SP1. So the whole gameplay loop of this fight is going to be push her to an SP1, let her throw that SP1 out, and once she does that, then you either knock her down. If you have good spacing with the SP1s, you can do that as well. Or like I tried there, I made a mistake, but that's okay. What you can do is you can just punish with a parry and heavy, but remember, every time you're going to parry, there is also going to be limber. So your amount of stuns are going to be limited as well. So basically the whole gameplay loop is when you knock down, she's going to gain power because of the dynamo charges. You can remove those dynamo charges with doing an intercept. So either do an intercept or only knock her down when she's below half a bar of power. are the safe zones. Otherwise, you are at risk of pushing her to an SP2, and that can be super annoying to deal with. Now I am going to go with Penny because of the class advantage and everything. So the best way for me with Penny to deal with this fight is just trigger 2 SP1s, and after 2 SP1s throw a big SP2, and with all of those charges you are going to land quite a few incinerates on Dazzler and you will be able to take her out. Other champions that can work are going to be America Chavez. Because of the heal reversal, the Dynamo power gain surge she's going to get will be reversed. Overseer is also another great option that can work. I've also seen people use Null. Basically, if you understand the gameplay loop here, and you can use basically any champion. So let me explain again before we jump on to the next fight. Every time you gain a bar of power, you're gonna give 2 Dynamo charges to Dazzler. Now, while having Dynamo charges, if you knock her down, she is going to remove her Dynamo charges and gain power. And the hard part about this fight is that you do not want to push her to an SP2 unless you know how to evade it, with most people don't. If you are not able to evade, you're going to die instantly. So the best time to knock her down is either when she has 0 bar of power or when she has only half a bar of power. Because with the Dynamo charges, she will not go up to an SP2. So that is the one thing you need to take care about. And then a big SP2, look at that damage. Even with those power gains, she only got to 1.5 bars of power. So the fight isn't difficult, it's just long, and you bring in the right champion and you can take her out. You just need to take care of her power gain and you should be good. Fight number 3 is probably the longest fight and the most annoying one in the whole path, because this is going to be a Lady Deathstrike and the nodes on her are going to be Adaptive Power Shield, so she will take 90% reduced damage from all sources except special attacks. And while you're performing a special attack, your attacker will gain 200% extra attack rating for each bar of power spent. So SP1, that is 200%, SP2, that's 400%. There's also fancy footwork, so for every 15 seconds, all of the attacker's power is removed unless you're either performing a special attack or you're dashing backward while the timer expires. You can note that with the grey timer just below Nova's health bar. There's also hard knock life, so every time you're gonna perform a parry on the opponent, you will gain a passive disorient that will reduce your ability accuracy by 15% for 15 seconds. So that might cause some of your parries not to register, so be careful about that. And finally, there is On the Prowl, so when the attacker gains a bar of power, they are special locked for 3 seconds. So when you gain a special attack, for 3 seconds you cannot trigger it, you have to wait it out before you throw it. Combine that with your fancy footwork nodes, there is a lot of chance that your specials are going to be just power drain, so you have to be very careful about managing your power drain with the fancy footwork and throwing your special attacks. Now that is all the nodes. Now what's important, we are facing Lady Deathstrike. So as long as Lady Deathstrike has an armor up, it's her mechanic that she is going to regen back the damage, any burst damage that you deal on her. So before you throw any kind of a special attack and do any kind of damage, you have to make sure that you armor break her. Now for armor break and burst damage champions, there are already very few in the game, but then even after that, it is locked by tag. So you can only use champions that are 7-star, that are medium size, and that are metal. So all the champions that they become very, like, there are very few champions that you can use. So if you don't have them ranked up, this is a good time to check out, okay, what champions I should be using. Now, some of the champions that I've seen that worked really well are going to be Nova. Nova is absolutely the best option because he can keep uptime on that armor break. Iron Man Infinity War also works really well. I've seen Punisher 2099 because he not only denies the power when his battery is charged, but he also applies armor break. So these are some of the good champions I've seen working. Future Ant-Man is also one of them. I've seen a Guardian, but the Guardian takes forever to kill her, so I would not suggest to bring Guardian in. So this is probably going to be your longest fight, don't worry about it. So one more important thing before I leave this fight is you have to really make sure that you are managing your space correctly. She can very easily corner you with her special and her passive AI, just like this, and she can be very annoying and not giving you any kind of space and corner you. Now I've got push her to an SP3, but because I'm using Nova with the class advantage, I was okay here. But right now you notice I'm in the corner and now I have to take her back. So this is where you use your parries and you use your 5 attack hits to take her to her side of the corner. And if she's not throwing her specials, you can always hit and block to create that space. Having that space is super important because if she corners you and onto your side, you're gonna get through those you're gonna get hit with those unblockable specials and you're gonna be dying super quick and it will cost you revives here. This is going to be the longest fight of the path, so I hope that you run through it with patience, and this is how you're gonna take him out with the Nova. Other options I've also shown you. Let me know in the comment section what was your best option and if I've not mentioned them. Next fight is going to be against an Enchantress. Now here the tag logs are going to be your 7-star champions and psychic shielding champions. The nodes are Matador, so you will only gain a bar of power whenever Enchantress will throw a special attack. And there's also unblockable specials, so all of her special attacks are unblockable, so you need to learn how to evade those SP ones. That is very important. And there's also take your medicine, so if you parry Enchantress, you are going to get a tranquilize on you. That is going to reduce your ability accuracy by 25% for 12 seconds, so some of your parries will miss. Now, on paper, it's a very simple fight to deal with, but you need to really know that what attacker you're going to bring in. Now, I brought in a rank 3 Onslaught, but I am not one of the best players with Onslaught. In hindsight, if I brought in some other champions, it would have been a much faster and easier fights for me. So, some other counters that can work really well are going to be your Mr. Sinister, Silver Saber, Jack-O-Lantern would be amazing here, and also Professor X. So I truly believe if I brought in a Jack-O-Lantern, this fight would have been much easier for me. But because I brought in an Onslaught, and I'm not really amazing with Onslaught and how to make sure to keep an uptime on his degen, it took me at least 3 revives here. That cost me quite a bit of time and the fight was longer unnecessarily. Now, if you are going to use an Onslaught, how you're going to work is first thing you have to evade the special. Second, wait for her to throw a heavy attack, then dash back once, and then you can interrupt like this with a heavy. That will give you extended pause, and that extended pause will help you stack up that degen, stack up those neuroshocks, and stack up those charges, the metal charges, every one of them. So here we go again. Evaded the special one. Now I'm gonna wait for her to throw a heavy in my block. There we go. Broke it up and with a huge SP2 and let the damage start. Now I'm gonna wait for the heavy attack again. And when she throws the heavy attack, I'm going to throw my heavy again and keep it paused. Now ideally, what you have to do, you have to keep throwing those heavy attacks after her heavy, and that will keep those degens and will easily pause, and the neuroshocks. And you can keep throwing your SP1s to intensify it and increasing those neuroshocks, and eventually that damage will all ramp up really fast and we'll be able to take out Enchantress. But as always, I'm not the best player with Onslaught, so I made quite a few mistakes here. But learned from them, made me a better Onslaught player. For other options, I would really say that one of the best options would be your Jack-O-Lantern and also Professor X if you want to bring them in. This fight is all about knowing how to evade the SP1 from Enchantress once you have that down, and also how to remove her spells, and you should be good. So this was a good run where I was able to bring her down to 50%. I had to revive back once, 2 times more to bring her down. So I'm just gonna show you the last part of the fight. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section and I'll be able to help you out. Next up is going to be a Thor Ragnarok, one of the easier fights of the path, only if you save up a shield for him. So when you make your plan, when you do your planning of the path, save up shield for him because she will just absolutely melt him. Now you will notice that there is brace for impact node, so there is a brace unstoppable icon that you can see underneath Thor Ragnarok's health bar that stops him from not being knocked down at the end of your specials or heavy attacks. Kind of like Heimdall that we have in your Epic of Pain. So it's very similar. So the way you are going to remove that brace is if you counter the heavy attack with either a special attack or with your basic attacks, and it goes on cooldown for 16 seconds. But if you have shield, you don't need to worry about it. You can just throw your SP once and you get your grit buff on you, and the grit buff will ignore any or all kinds of unstoppable, including brace. So you don't need to worry about that. So once you have that out of the way, it becomes a simple Thor Ragnarok fight. And the nodes here are going to be brace for impact, combo up, 2 to tango, parry, and powerful. You cannot use with powerful, you cannot manipulate the power, you cannot power drain, power steal, or anything. The difficult part here would be to make sure that you don't give him SP3 because that is going to be an instant death. And the tag logs are going to be 7-star champions and 10-year challenge. A lot of counters I've seen going around, but because it's an easier fight, Shield is probably the best option. Then you also have Sorcerer Supreme. I've also seen this fight taken with Gorr and also Vox. And there's also Ironheart as well. All of them can work really well. You just need to make sure that whenever there is a power gain on Thor, either you bait out the specials, or if you have a special attack ready, you trigger your special attack in him, and that will stop the power gain. And you can rinse and repeat that, and that is the gameplay loop for this fight, and you should be able to in the end comfortably take him out. I do die here once at the end at 10% health, but that's okay. I was able to come back and take him out quite comfortably in the end. So if you have a shield, save her for this fight. It will save you a lot of headache. The next defender is going to be Arcade, and probably my least favorite fight in all of this Quest 1. Just because Arcade has his own kind of mechanics and he's very annoying to deal with. Initially, I wanted to go on this fight with Gorr, but then I thought about Void and he worked like the charm for me. I did die once here, but that was due to my own mistake not understanding the nodes. Now speaking about the nodes, the first node is going to be Heavy Hands. The second one is going to be Stun Immunity. And the third one, he can parry you. And whenever he does parry you, he's going to apply shock on you that is going to deal quite a bit of damage. And there is also going to be Free Spirited. So if it's Free Spirited, your spirit gain is going to be 300%. So you're going to get your striker very quick in this fight, so you can use that to your advantage. Now usually what you like to do with Arcade is always push him to an SP2. So you will use your spirit gain to your advantage and you will always push him to an SP2. Now you notice here that I did trigger his auto block and I got a lot of shock damage on me, and I made this mistake consistently during this first fight against him, where I was not able to parry his heavy, I'm not able to counter his heavy with my heavy to remove those auto block charges. So here's an SP2, blocking the first 2 hits, evading the third. Now he has 3 arcade tokens. To remove that, I need to use a heavy attack right after his heavy, just like that. And now I can go in and attack without worrying about the auto block. So I wasn't able to do that before. I only realized it when I got to 25% health. And that's where I died and I had to come back again with the next revive. So once I understood that, the fight became much more easier and I was able to take 70% of his health down with one revive only. So what I'm trying to do here, let me explain. I'm pushing him to an SP2 and he's going to trigger his special 2 right away. I'm using my SP1s as soon as I get them, so I can keep those debuffs on him, so I can keep dealing him damage. Now he has 3 arcade tokens. I'm gonna block and wait for him to throw a heavy, and I'm gonna counter with my heavy. As soon as the tokens are below 2, I can hit him without any worries because he's not going to auto block. And I'm gonna throw my special one again. Now I'm gonna hold my block because I don't want him to throw a special one. I always want him to throw a special 2 here, and just using my striker and special 1 to help me out in that. Again, same gameplay loop. He throws a special attack 2 out, wait for his heavy on my block, counter it with my heavy, and now his arcade tokens are below 1, so I don't need to worry about it. Here again, 5-hit combo. I'm gonna wait for him to dash in, use my special on attack, holding hard block again, and with the striker I push him to an SP2 again, and that is a gameplay loop you do over and over again, and you can take him out. Dex the last hit of the SP2, wait for him to throw a heavy in your block, and then you counter with your heavy, and just like that, arcade tokens are going to be reduced, and you will be able to take this fight down quite comfortably in the end. I'm not gonna lie, I hate fighting arcade, and this was the fight I was really worried about, but eventually my rank 4 Void worked really well. I'm sure any rank 3 champion will work the same. Just don't get auto blocked and you should be good. And then we have the leader, one of the easiest fights of this whole path in quest number 1. The tag logs are going to be 7-star champion and 2022 year. Now the nodes are going to be close encounters, so if you're near him, you're going to get 1% regen on you. If you're far away, you're going to get a degen on you. So you have to manage that. And then there's also enhanced parry, so whenever you will parry the opponent, you will get power gain on yourself, so you can use that to throw those specials. And there's also I said freeze and unmastered, so your willpower and your self masteries will be disabled for this fight. Now the best counter for this fight is going to be a Black Cat. I've also seen this fight done with Mantis, Atoma, and also with the infamous Iron Man. But my choice was Shuri because I have her at rank 3 and she has that consistent damage. So I was able to bring leader down to around 10% before I had to revive once I made a mistake and I could take him out. But honestly, this fight should not cost you any revive because you can easily heal up while you're nearby the leader. All I'm doing with Shuri is building up to my 50 charges each of those shocks, and that should eat away at the leader and then throw my SP2s for some big damage. So, quick fight tips will be that you have to stay near for the regen, and you have to keep him to an SP1 only. It's just easier to evade. Don't push him to an SP2. And honestly, take care of all the debuffs on you. There's no willpower activation for this fight, so you should be okay. As long as you stay near, you should be fine. And you are able to take down leader quite comfortably in the end. One of the easier fights, nothing much more to explain here. Let me know in the comment section who have you used, and I'll be able to help you out if you haven't used the right champion. You're still on the planning phase. Now I know when you look at Bullseye and you think like, what is this? How I'm going to get through with this champion because he's such an annoying defender. On top of it, there is also tag lock. So there is 7-star champions that you have to bring, and there also should be 2019 champs. And the nodes are going to be purified state. So whenever he will use a special attack, he is going to remove 4 debuffs off of him. There's adamant axiom, so his ability accuracy cannot be reduced. And there's also arrow to the knee. He will start the fight with 3 of those cruelty charges that you can take for yourself if you are going to intercept him. Now, this fight is more about playing slow and patience than anything else, and just taking that SP1s on the block. Now, the best champion is hands down Mr. Sinister. So when you make this when you do kind of planning for this one, make sure that you put Mr. Sinister there. Don't worry, once I've done with all the three parts, I will also share a planner where I will show which are the must-have options for each path so you can use them. Now, for other counters that can really work here is going to be all about your damage over time champions that are a little bit tanky or that have any kind of healing. So, Mr. Sinister, he has damage over time and he can heal. Diablo has damage over time and he can heal. And there's also Nick Fury, he has all of those bleeds and has a second life. You can literally just use parry and heavy and you should be good. And with Diablo, you can use parry and then use heavy, that also works out. Now, the other two options are going to be a little out of the box, but they do work. I've seen people using them. That is going to be a Warlock. Now with Warlock, once you have enough of those viruses on Bullseye, you can essentially keep him power drained below 0 bar of power, and you can just use parry and heavy. That will also crit and also apply the bleeds, so Warlock is going to be a good option as well. You can do the same with Guillotine 2099, but there you will have to activate the pre-fight where you are going to power drain after every 100 hits, and you can also use your SP1. So it's all about keeping him power drained or also applying damage over time effects. That works out super for this fight, but for sure Mr. Sinister is hands down the best option for this fight, and I'm showing you a preview of it. Now, this is going to be the most restrictive fight in all of the path because you can only use 7-star champions and Spider-Verse heroes. And the nodes are going to be Bleed Immunity, Spontaneous Combustion, Adaptive Override, Dawn of Protection, Set Skin, and also Debuff to Defend. So let me make it simple for you. If you do your AQs, you remember this node, you have to do a medium, heavy, or a special attack to remove the protections that is gained by the defender every 15 seconds. Now, you have to remove those if you want to deal 100% damage. Now, you will every now and then be asked to use a heavy attack on the opponent. But there is a node here, Adaptive Override. You are going to start, all of your attack types are going to be considered as physical attacks. This is very similar to the Epic of Pain Absorbing Man fight, if you know that fight. When you start the fight, everything is considered as physical attacks. Whenever you will knock down the opponent with a heavy attack, all of your attacks are going to be considered energy attacks. Now remember, against Human Torch, you cannot use energy attacks, so you have to make sure that whenever you throw a heavy in this fight and he's knocked down, the next hit, use a heavy attack again to convert your attack damage type to physical again. That is the most important thing. And the fight will prompt you, the RPG ask of the fight will be to use a heavy attack, because if you don't, you won't be able to remove all of those protections, and to remove those protections and do 100% damage, you will have to use a heavy attack. So the easiest way to do that is whenever you use a heavy once, make sure on the next attack you parry and you use a heavy again and bring it back to your physical attacks. Now, some other champions that can work really well are going to be Spider-Ham. He literally destroys this fight. There's also Silk and Spider-Woman. I'm just using my newly ranked up rank 4 Spider-Woman. She works super well, although I made quite a bit of mistakes. But yeah, that's about it for this fight. Let me explain again. Whenever you will start the fight, you will start with all of your attacks being considered as physical attacks. It doesn't matter if you're using an energy attack champion as well. They will all be considered physical. And you will have to take down the protections from Human Torch with using either a medium, a heavy, or a special attack. Now, when you use a heavy attack, that is going to change your damage type from physical to energy. So the way to counter that is to, when you use a heavy attack to knock him down, on the next combo, use parry and heavy again and convert it back to physical, and you should be good. That is the only thing difficult about this fight, and rest is good. For Spider-Woman, if you're going to use, make sure that you have your Furies up, because the power sting damage is based on how much is your damage, how much Furies you have. So a good rotation with Spider-Woman would be SP2 into 2 SP1s, then again SP2 into 2 SP1s, and the power sting should be enough to take out Human Torch. So I hope this helps you out. Let's jump on to the next fight. And then we have a Serpent, a big, beefy, tanky Serpent. Now the tag locks here is going to be 7-star champions, medium size and offensive damage over time. Now the nodes are going to be redlining, so as soon as you go above 2 bars of power, you are going to lose all of your power. So you have to use your special attack 1 and 2 as soon as you get it. And there's also long distance eternity, so if you are far away from a Serpent, all of it's unblockable and all the nodes will be paused, the power gain as well, and once you're nearby him, they are going to expire. So basically it's a big beefy Serpent fight with a few nodes, but that really don't make a difference here because this is just a big Serpent fight. So the champions here are going to be important. Now out of all the champions that I've mentioned, the hardest one is going to be, this fight is super restrictive. The only 3 champions that I've seen people use, and the 3rd champion is still a bit iffy, but the 2 best counters that I've seen are going to be your Spiral and is going to be Void. Now the way this quest works, if you're going to use a Void in the beginning against Arcade, you will not be able to use it here. So you will need to have Spiral with you. Now I've seen people use Hawkeye as well. That also kind of works, but his HP is less and he takes a lot of block damage. So you just have to be careful about that. I would also suggest you to only keep Serpent to an SP1, which I know it's a bit difficult, but with the SP1, he will keep applying fear on you, and with that fear, you can heal up with the willpower and you can stay in the fight. Now, I'm using a Spiral here. All I'm doing is alternating my combos so I can keep draining the power. So if you know how Spiral works, you usually use a light, medium attack if you're using a 5-hit combo. So that alternates your combo and gives you the ability to drain power from Serpent. And you can get through taking down Serpent. If you control the power, you control Serpent quite easily. So right here at the end of it, light, medium into an SP1, and that works out perfectly. Although if I had Void, it would have been a much easier fight because that power drain and power control is built up into it. But that's okay, we are gonna work it like this. Another thing you need to take care about here is that if you're gonna stay away from him, he is going to pause all of his buffs. So that can be power gain, that can be unblockable, that can be all the buffs. So be wary about that. And another thing, if you use a champion that has some kind of Fate Steal or a Nullify or something, Serpent is going to go stun immune for 10 seconds. So Wiccan would have been a good choice here, but he wouldn't be the best one because when he applies Neutralize, he's going to give a 10-second stun immunity to Serpent, so he's not going to work. The rest of it, it's good. It's just a long beefy fight like every single fight in all of this quest. So you have to like really take your time and slowly take him down. You will make mistakes just like me in the big if you don't have an experience with the defender. This was my first time taking Spiral against a Serpent, and all I remembered was to use light, medium and an SP1s, and I would be able to control the power. I did manage to get a solo in the end, but it was just a long fight. So this quest is going to be all about long fights, so be wary about that. And the good thing about Spiral is you can easily dodge the special attack, so you don't take much of block damage. That liberty you will not have if you use a Void here, if you use a Hawkeye, but all other than that, you can get this fight done with Spiral and Void quite easily. And next up we are going to have a Spiral as a defender. Now I really want you to understand this fight is not that easy as much as Deathless She-Hulk makes it look like. This fight is quite difficult because there are 3 different elements that you have to deal with. But before I explain that, remember the tag lock champions are going to be 7-star champions and with control denial hashtag. The best counters are going to be champions with either power control or champions with anti-miss. I personally like champions that have a miss counter. They will be amazing for this fight. So the best options, I would say Deathless She-Hulk will be an amazing one because of her stacking damage and also the ability to kind of apply that fear and bypass the miss. You can also use Captain America Sam Wilson. You can also use Professor X. Prowler is going to be another great option here. And then you have your power control options where if she doesn't throw a special, you can easily bypass 2 or 3 of the mechanics here in this fight. So Fantman is also a good option with the SP1 spam. And same goes with Guillotine 2099 with the SP1 spam. Now the nodes here are going to be Combat Deja Vu. So if you use the same special attack twice in a row, he is going to go unblockable. So you have to use only what I did, medium, medium combos, and then parry into heavy. That's all you're going to do the whole fight. It's going to be a slow fight, it's going to be an annoying one, but it's going to be a super safe fight. So the first element is the unblockable. So use medium, light, medium, then just like me, use a heavy attack. Let's check it out. So that's a heavy, and now I'm gonna use a medium, light, medium after this special attack. Here we go, medium, light, medium into a striker and then into a heavy attack. That's all I'm going to do, and I'm going to avoid the unblockable totally. Next one is obstinate charge. You cannot avoid that. Whenever you will try to parry spiral, the first stun is going to be dispelled because of the stun shield with obstinate charge, and you can just do a re-parry. So you have to be very careful about that. And then there is you spiral me around. Whenever she has dancing blades, that is going to be throughout the whole fight. Whenever she will activate a special attack, she's going to throw those dancing blades towards you, as you just saw. So you have to play around that. So the way you deal with this one is going to be, and if that wasn't enough, there is also arrogance. So she's also going to be applying miss on you every 10 hits. So there is a lot to take care about on this fight. Now if you're going to use She-Hulk like me, the best way is go medium, light, medium, and then parry into heavy combos. Now with the heavy, you will apply fear, so you will bypass the miss, and with medium, light, medium into heavy attack, you are not going to give her unblockable. So the only thing you will need to worry about is going to be obstinate charge, and also the dancing blaze that she's going to trigger whenever she will going to use a special attack. So you have to play around that, and I would say the best way is to just block those dancing blades, because they're not going to do any damage. They will only stun you if they make contact with you. So that can be a bit difficult to manage. But even with all the mistakes with Deathless She-Hulk, you notice that I am able to get the solo quite comfortably in the end, and I've already kept her to an SP1 and alternated my combos and avoid the unblockable, and with the heavy I avoided the miss. So in the end the fight looks much shorter and easier, but trust me, this is one of the more difficult fights in the path. And the last fight before the boss is going to be a dust. Now, you can only use 7-star champions or size small tagged along with metal champions. The nodes are going to be sloped armor, turtling, even punishment, and be like water. So with sloped armor, if you don't attack, whenever there's an armor up on the opponent, they are going to glance your hits. And then there is turtling. So if you are not able to attack the defender every 6 seconds, they are going to gain an armor up buff on them. So when you hit them, that timer is restarted. So you can notice that gray timer just underneath Dust health bar. So here we go again. Now I'm waiting him out to throw that special attack, and as soon as the timer is up, you see that there is an armor up. Now she is going to glance the attacks. Now if I want to remove that is going to be with even punishment. What even punishment does is whenever I'm going to parry the opponent, that is going to remove one buff on each one of us. So it will remove one armor up from me, and it will remove one armor up from Dust. But the difficult thing is that there is Be Like Water. So whenever you will apply a non-damaging debuff on Dust, she is going to go unblockable with Be Like Water for 5 seconds. So you have to dance around that. Now the best counters here, again this is a restrictive fight, is going to be your Ironheart is going to be by far the best counter, because she can remove all of those dust charges. Lady Deathstrike is also a good one. You can also use Guillotine 2099. You are going to take dust damage, that is going to come with it. But that's okay. The only thing you need to take care about if you're using an Ironheart is to just spam your SP1s, get those incinerates as up and as much as possible. I would suggest you to bring in Ironheart, because she is the best option for this fight in quest number 1. Otherwise she's going to be a bit annoying to deal with. So remember, what I like to do, I don't like to parry her. It doesn't matter how many armor up she has. I will just simply hold my block and let her hit in my block, and when she uses a heavy attack, that's my in. And with the re-parry, I am able to get back in and throw my special attacks and take her out. That is the simplest strategy with against us that I use, and I always try to push her to an SP2 because it's much easier to evade, and I can go back in and retaliate and take her out. So yeah, easy punishes. You have an Iron Heart ready for this fight, your life will be much more simpler. Alrighty, so we are going to be at the boss. I have taken down around 60%, 40% of him, but when you come on to the boss, there is going to be tag logs. That is going to be 7-star champions and X-Force. Now, your best option is going to be hands down Jean Grey because she can counter the reverse controls. But some other options that can work is Deadpool X, and in my case I use Colossus. He works super well for me. You can also use the same strategy with your Storm. Now the nodes are going to be unblockable specials, so all the specials will be unblockable, so you're forced to just evade all of them. Then there is swipe left, the other left, so every 8 seconds your controls will be reversed. You can look at that timer underneath your health bar. That is right now active in red, and once the cooldown is done it will go gray and your controls will be back to normal. So this is the main thing about this fight that you have to control. Now right off the bat I would tell you to always keep Thanos to SP1 only. This is going to be a slow fight, this is going to be an annoying fight, but that's okay. That's the whole quest. I would suggest not to attempt this quest if you don't have all the right champions. Take your time, plan your parts, and then go on for this quest. Don't worry, I will also upload a planner and I will explain how to use it later with all the best champions for this one, so stay tuned for that. I will also leave it in the description that you can check it out after. So my strategy was simple here because I didn't have Jean Grey, who is the only immune champion. So what I was trying to do here is just parry and use my heavy attack. Push him to an SP1. Because I have enough time after I push him to an SP1, I can see if my controls are reversed or not, and then I can evade the SP1. So right here, that was regular controls. Now I'm going to use my parry and heavy, and I know that my controls are not reversed, and I can evade that. Well, I made a mistake there. I should have evaded that. Again, parry and heavy. Now I know my controls are reversed. I'm mentally ready to dash back twice and evade all of that. So that is the whole gameplay loop for this one. As soon as you get an SP2, throw that out and you are able to do quite a bit of damage to Thanos. Now there is one more thing that you need to know, that there is a node here that is combat deja vu weakness. So if you use the same basic attack twice in a row, you are going to get a weakness on you that you can use to heal back up with willpower. But then again, if you use the strategy with parry and heavy only, you will not need it. Now with every parry, you are also going to get armors, and with every armor up, you are going to increase your damage to Colossus. And my Colossus is rank 3, so that's why I brought him. And I did die, I think, 3 times on this fight, but eventually I was able to take him down and finish off the quest. Now before I go, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. It's already a 43-minute video. I think that would be it. I've cut a lot of the gameplay here, but if you have any questions, let me know. And this is going to be a hard content. I would really suggest you, once you have enough revives or once you understand the fights, only then attempt it. Otherwise this is going to be really annoying to deal with. So thank you for joining in. I'm going to be back with quest number 2, so stay tuned for that. Enjoy the quest number 1, and I hope you complete it on time. Thank you. Bye.